If the woman don't care if you come in the house at 5 o'clock in the morning, or whatever time in the morning it is, it's either she finna leave your ass, she's gonna murk your ass later, or she hunching the pool boy. Oh, my life. If I don't say it, then y'all won't do it. Please remember to like, share, subscribe. Tip your favorite narrator on Cash App at $NAROB on YouTube. And if you are not already a part of this book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes, you can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, let's continue talking about Miss Pervis Staples. Crume had a brief romance with the teenage Mavis, and Pervis would play pranks on the young couple on the road. One day in the South, Crume awoke to Pop's distinctively loud 3-knock rap on his motel room door. I opened the door, getting ready to go into my little act, and it's Pervis standing there grinning. Crume says with a laugh, "It's okay, Mavis. Blab says you can come out of the closet now." Pervis left the group from 1958 to 1960 to serve in the Army at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, and then Fort Lee in Virginia. His place in the Staples was taken by Yvonne, who had been working as Pop's business partner, helping book tours and managing the group's finances. So now I know why the Staples singers had moments without Pervis. Okay, I didn't know that, because I was like, they started with Pervis. Where did Pervis go? Occasionally, Pervis would take leave from his duties to briefly rejoin the group. Once while singing at the Apollo, Pervis came from the Army in Virginia to join us on stage, Pops recalled. Yvonne was the manager and was not too excited about singing, so Pervis replaced her that night. The girls wore pink sheer dresses with long cotton slips. The dresses were straight but flare at the bottom. Instead of sewing a zipper in the slips, the dressmaker made them with hooks and eyes. Cleo would clap, then Mavis and Pervis would do a fancy double clap over their heads. Mavis clapped and could feel her slip fall. She turned to Pervis and asked him to pick up the slip as he left the stage so as not to attract attention. Mavis stepped out of the slip and exited stage left. Pervis exited to the right. He picked up the slip all right, Pops recalled. Instead of balling it up, he started flagging it full length from the waist. The audience went up for grabs, laughing and hollering. Mavis looked back to see her brother parading her slip. That's hilarious. I mean, it wouldn't be right if you didn't do stuff like that to your siblings. You gotta torture them, but you torture them with love. It's love. While performing with the U.S. Army Chorus in Virginia, Pervis met and later, look, y'all know it's these dogs. They keep dropping their little fish bones on the floor, making all this noise. This is what they look like. I think it's funny to them to drop their fish on the floor. Bastards. While performing with the U.S. Army Chorus in Virginia, Pervis met and later married Lenora Anderson. But when Pervis returned from the Army to rejoin his family on the road, he and Crume resumed their tag team Tomcat adventures. We had this gig in Gary, Indiana, and I drove my personal car from Chicago, Crume says. We finished the gig up pretty early, around 11, and we didn't intend to hang out because we were both married. So we went out for coffee. But 3 or 4 ladies wanted to hang. We got a hotel room to talk till maybe 1, then go home. With the girls? You got a hotel room to talk to the girls? That's Hold on, let me read forward. Because there is no way in hell that you could go home and tell your wives, hey, we met some ladies on the road and we rented a hotel room, and we went up to the room and we all was going to just talk. We got a hotel room to talk till maybe 1, then go home. Why can't you talk in your car or at a bar? I mean, I understand it's during the time where, you got to be real careful because of your color. But you can't talk on the streets, on a street curb. I mean, it's been plenty of times where I hung out in the hood and we just talked. One thing led to another. Then Blab went and got another room. We paired off. The next morning, the sun is shining through the window and I call his room. Blab, do you know what time it is? Oh, hell, we in trouble. Answer yes. His old lady was jealous and mine was too. I don't understand. How's that jealous? You going to accuse her of being jealous. But you then stayed the night with some ladies in a hotel room. How does that make her jealous? She's not supposed to be jealous that she don't know where her husband is? I don't know. Men are crazy. We paired off. The next morning, the sun is shining through the window, and I call his room. Blab, do you know what time it is? Oh, hell, we in trouble. His old lady was jealous, and mine was too. We were driving home trying to make up excuses. He was begging me to go in with him. He was so sure Lenora was gonna go off on him. Instead, everything's cool. I get home and my wife is smiling, going off to work. Pervis and I never could figure it out. Yeah, because she round there hunching the pool boy. That's what the hell happening. If the woman don't care if you come in the house at 5 o'clock in the morning or, whatever time in the morning it is, it's either she finna leave your ass, she's gonna murk your ass later, or she hunching the pool boy. Pervis and I never could figure it out. He thought our wives had collaborated. From that day to this day, they never said a word about that night. We got away with one. Or maybe they did. That's right. Pay attention. For all the Staples singers' initial success at VJ, the group never enjoyed a follow-up hit on the scale of Uncloudy Day. Staples was a gospel disciple, but he wanted an audience that reached beyond the genre's narrow confines. If he wasn't keen to dive in as deep into the crossover waters as Sam Cooke, Aretha Franklin, and Bobby Womack had, he still wanted to address and win over secular music fans on his terms. We started out as a so-called gospel group, but the Staples singers were not just a straight gospel group in the face of our religion and gospel people. Pop said in a 1973 interview with the Los Angeles Free Press, "We've always been a kind of blues-like sounding group because I started out playing guitar, playing blues. When we sang gospel, we'd kinda be on that same kick and I'd have the same chords and keys that we played the blues in. The real gospel singers like Mahalia Jackson, Roberta Martin, and Clara Ward, we just wasn't in that category. We more or less was in a kind of modern folk singer's bag." In 1961, Pop signed with Gary Kramer, a former Atlantic Records executive who had opened his own management company, Jubilee Artist Corp. Kramer's clients included gospel singers Marianne Williams and Alex Bradford and actor Billy D. Williams. Billy D., my baby just turned 88. What the hell was y'all thinking? Hiring Billy D. Williams? It was a bag, but what the hell was y'all thinking? Billy D. Williams, you too damn old to be dancing with the stars. That's why he left. I think he did maybe 2 shows, and that was it. He couldn't handle it, girl. Pops showed up at Jubilee offices in Manhattan all by himself. Country but super slicked up, recalls Anthony Hilbert, who tipped Kramer to the Staples Singers. Kramer landed them a date at the Evansville Jazz Festival in June 1961, where the Staples performed on a bill with Duke Ellington, Cannonball Adderley, Ira Sullivan, Al Hirt, and Mel Torme. It was among the first significant dates for the Staples Singers outside the gospel circuit. Though attendance was sparse, the Jazz Bible down belt covered the festival, and many of the performers saw the Staples in action for the first time and came away impressed. On February 18, 1962, the Staples made another appearance designed to stretch their reach. Gospel, the Soul of Jazz concert at Carnegie Hall was billed as a dramatized history of 100 years of Negro church music and its influence in the developmental of jazz. The other performers included Dizzy Gillespie, the Bobby Timmons Trio, Faye Adams, Alex Bradford, Marion Williams, the Soul Stirrers, the Caravans, and the choir of the Greater Abyssinian Baptist Church. The Staples were becoming one of gospel music's most reliable draws. The Chicago Defender reported that in 1962, the family took in $60,000 at the time. The average family income in the United States was $6,000. The group's classy, high-profile appearances started bringing them some serious mainstream media attention. Pops wanted to be able to broaden the audience without alienating his base, Keep News told journalist Rob Bowen. Okay, so before we go forward, I just want to tell you who Orrin Keep News is, because the name just popped up out of nowhere, right? And I don't want you all to be confused, because, it's a lot going on in books, period. It'd be several names and several groups. It's just a lot of character movement in the book. So anyway, Orrin Keep News is this genius Jewish jazz freelance producer / writer who is now working with the Staples Singers. And at this time, he is working with the Staples through, I think the name of the company is Riverside or Riverview Records, something like that. When you hear the word river, that's how the collaboration happens. He kept referring to what an important part of their livelihood, their regular run of church gigs was. He was nervous about the possibility and didn't want to do anything too extreme with repertoire. But Keep News did hire a sharp rhythm section with Leonard Gaskin on bass and Joe Marshall Jr. and Gus Johnson sharing drums. The session musicians weren't just window dressing as they were on the group's VJ recordings. Keep News gave the drums more punch in the mix. Pervis, Cleotha, and Mavis had now developed an intricate array of hand claps, and with the drums they injected up-tempo tracks such as Everybody Will Be Happy and Great Day with holy roller energy. The polyrhythmic hand clapping was commonplace in gospel, but it sent a charge through the gospel novices the Staples began to see in their audience in the 60s. The hand clapping started in church. We'd sing something fast and Pervis would do a double clap. Cleety would play it straight and I'd do a syncopated clap, Mavis says. It's the sound of the sanctified church with the tambourine, but we didn't have the tambourine, so we had to come up with something in its place. The title track, Hammer and Nails, was a relatively new gospel tune written by Aaron Schroeder and David Hill. It carried a spiritual message without being overtly religious, propelled by Gus Johnson's drums, and the exuberant call and response between Mavis and the family. Pause. Two songs, let me tell you, that I know for sure where the lines are blurred is I Want to Thank You by Frankie Beverly and Mickey Howard's Love Under New Management. You know they singing to the Lord. It's just they don't necessarily say it. What other song blurs the lines between religion and secular? I didn't feel like Riverside was trying to change us drastically, Mavis says. They may have wanted us to sing stuff without using the word God in the song, but something like hammer and nails, it takes more than a hammer and nails to make a house a home. I could relate to those words, and I think our old audience could too. While growing up in Hibbing, Minnesota during the 50s, Bob Dylan got a late night crash course in blues, country folk, R&B, early rock and roll, and gospel by traveling across that AM radio dial.